How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today I want to talk to you about something that I think you should probably be taking advantage of. And it's something that I have bought a lot of this year, a really significant amount compared to my overall net worth. And it's not Bitcoin. It's not even a stock. I'm gonna explain to you what it is. It's something in cryptocurrency. But just know we're all different, right? What's right for my situation might not be right for yours. And just because I'm doing something doesn't mean you should either. Maybe we have different skills. Maybe some of us, some people that maybe aren't as tech savvy should have a little bit more, should be a little bit more conservative when in the crypto space, just because of the fact that there are some technical things that you have to do, even if it's something as simple as copy and pasting, that some people have more of a difficult time doing. Now, of course, I'm not trying to patronize anyone. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing because I think it is a good opportunity and there is some news on it here today. I also want to cover some of the top news because honestly, the crypto market is down a little bit, right? We're down about 1.36%. But when we look at that compared to the NASDAQ is dropping off a cliff today, 1.75% after being down several days last week. So it's interesting, right? It's an interesting time in the market, especially with the FOMC meeting this week with Powell giving the rate hike decision. We're going to get into all that. If you guys don't mind, hit the like button and subscribe button. I appreciate that. If you want to know what I'm doing, there's the link down underneath the video to the Patreon where you can join in and I tell everyone exactly when I buy and sell different stocks and crypto. Also, I would highly suggest getting an unstoppable domain. There's a link to it underneath the video. They start very cheaply, $5, and then they go all the way up to where you can buy premium domain names for thousands of dollars like latte.coin or, pizza.wallet. And there are a bunch of those different premium domains that you can buy and then speculate on and resell them for a profit. Also, they do things like this. They give away, money and they give away prizes on their Twitter. So definitely check out the link underneath the video to Unstoppable Domains. They are a partner of the channel. I have several of the domains myself, though. They give you a readable wallet address for your crypto. Now, like I said, crypto is down a little bit here today, but honestly, it's not doing too badly. We actually got some good news. If you look here on the last 24 hours or so, we actually had some fear, uncertainty, and doubt last night. You see this big drop from about 38.6 all the way down to 37.7 within a few minutes. Why was that happening? Well, it was because we got news out of Europe that Parliament was going to possibly try to ban proof of work. However, that got overturned today. It was voted against, and that's being taken out of what they are talking about in whatever bill, right? So this is just one of those things where there can be fear, uncertainty, and doubt that just comes like that, and then it's gone just like that. So if you panic sold, well, you lost out. Maybe you have to buy it in $1,000 higher than you sold out at yesterday. So that's just kind of one of those things, though. If you do that and then we take off and then you never buy back in, that can be a problem. So that is why I don't try to make rash decisions just on some government possibly banning or there's something in a bill, right? Those things usually work themselves out and people will continue to use Bitcoin throughout time. Now, that was some good news that we got today. However, the market's still down, right? There's a lot of fear. Right now, this is actually Meet Kevin. He's talking about a triple bounce on QQQ. Also, there's low buying pressure, pre-Fed meeting, max uncertainties on war, Russia, Ukraine, inflation at 7.9%, possibly going even higher here soon because of the war and oil prices going up, and a possible recession, right? If the Fed raises too quickly, or even if they don't, it could slow down the economy, and then we could go into a recession. So this is where he says I'm buying, right? I've been buying personally over the last over the last month or so. I've been buying pretty heavily in stocks and in crypto. The stocks I've been buying, Google, Tesla, Facebook, Amazon. Since I started buying, they pretty much just gone up and come down and gone up and come down maybe a few percent. But we're still at one of those at a very uncertain time in the market. Now, crypto, pretty similar. I've been dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and it's gone sideways. We did have some interesting back and forth from Elon Musk and Michael Saylor. So Elon just put it out there to the community. What are your thoughts on probable inflation rate over the next few years? He said this to everyone on Twitter. Michael Saylor says USD consumer inflation will continue near all-time highs and asset inflation will run at double the rate of consumer inflation. Weaker currencies will collapse and the flight of capital from cash, debt, and value stocks to scarce property like Bitcoin will intensify. he comes back and says, it's not entirely unpredictable that you would reach that conclusion, kind of throwing a little jab at him, but nothing too serious. He says, as a general principle, though, for those looking for advice from this thread, is generally better to own things like a home or stock in companies that you think will make good products than dollars when inflation is high. I still own and won't sell any of my Bitcoin, Ethereum, DOGE, just, for everyone to know. Now, this is, I think, a good point. Right when we start investing, it makes so much sense that if there's inflation, right, if everything's being more expensive, you should put all your money, or as much money as possible, in stocks, maybe crypto, other assets that appreciate with time. Because you think, okay, I need to get more than whatever that inflation is, because otherwise I'm losing money. And everyone else must be thinking the same way. However, as you go along, you realize, okay, there's a lot going on here with the Fed actually having to raise rates if inflation is too high and it's not transitory, and then it becomes harder and harder to borrow. Companies have to do a variety of things that are more uncomfortable for them or not as good for the shareholders as just being able to get some cheap debt, right? So profit margins come down, and then people try to pull their money out before that happens, and it can get messy, right? The market's always forward-facing, so if people are thinking that we might have to raise rates, then the market's going to go down. But if you think about it as just a really general principle, Elon's totally right? If we had a prolonged era of inflation, one of the worst things you can do is hold on to dollars. Where it's good to be holding on to dollars is if there's some short-term collapse, right? If inflation's at 8%, last month it was at 1%, right? The market falls down 10%, well, it would have been a lot better to hold on to cash, lose 1% than 10% in the stock market. However, it's impossible to know where the market's going to go, which is why we stay invested, a lot of us. And I do that personally. I like to dollar cost average just because I never know what's going to happen over time, but I know that the market's kind of like an escalator, right? You can try to go against it, but over time, it's just going to go up. It's just going to go up with time. Now, what have I been buying so heavily? What have I been getting into so heavily this year? I'm going to show you a number, and I'll actually talk to you more about this in a video later this week about exactly how I'm investing, and I'm going to break down the numbers. So again, if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. I'm going to tell you what I'm investing into crypto. I'm going to tell you what I'm investing into stocks and what stocks. And I have been investing in this pretty heavily throughout the year. I'm not actively investing much more into it, but I may. And that's Anchor Protocol. Now, like I said earlier, this isn't going to be right for everyone. This actually takes a good amount of resourcefulness to get money in here. And I was just talking to someone that also uses this, and they said the same thing. At the beginning, it's not super easy. You have to spend a little while getting used to this if you haven't used DeFi before, especially. So they are giving 19.4%, between 19.4 and 19.6. And I have a significant amount of money in here. You can see every day I get $72 in interest. Every week, $508. Every month, $2,200. Every year, $26,400. Now, I fully believe that they will lower this interest rate. And I have proof of that recently. So this, I think, is a really good risk to reward, especially in this kind of market. It has different risks than putting your money in Bitcoin or Ethereum or stocks. It's a different kind of risk. However, I think it's still a good part of a portfolio, or a good thing to put in your portfolio if you can deal with actually getting the money in here and being safe with it. So why do I say that? Well, first of all, you need to get some kind of account where you can put USDC in it or Solana or something so that you can transfer that over to Kucoin. Kucoin is one of the easiest places to use. I'll leave a link to Kucoin underneath the video as well. I don't work with them really, but it is some kind of referral system there. So I use them for UST. Then from there, you have to move the money into Kucoin, right? Or Solana or whatever it is, USDC. And from there, you have to move it from your main account over to your trading account. And you can always look up how to do this too, right? You can look up how to do it, but this is just a simple version. So you move it from your main account to your trading account. Then you have to trade it for UST. Then you have to move the UST back from the trading account to the main account in Kucoin. Then you have to send the UST to your Terra Station wallet. You have to make a Terra Station wallet, make sure that's legit, and you click on the right place. Then you have to copy your address, put that in the send area or the address in Kucoin. When you try to send out your UST will send over to your Terra Station wallet. Then you have to go to app.anchorprotocol.com. You have to get into their app, go over to deposit, and then you deposit from your Terra Station wallet. So again, you can find something online that tells you how to do this. Just look up probably how to deposit on Anchor Protocol, but that's how you do it. So it's not the easiest thing for new people to do, or people that maybe aren't as tech savvy. And then from there, it is in here. You have to make sure that you protect your wallet, write down your seed phrase, all that kind of stuff. But then you can withdraw pretty easily here, and you can withdraw it back to whatever account you want over time. Now, they have had some news this week. So what we've seen here, and this has been pretty evident that they have been growing in popularity. $14.7 billion market cap in UST. Now, most of this is in Anchor Protocol. And you can see it here, their total value locked has been expanding a lot because of the market environment. A 20% APY sounds really good right now. Last year, at this time, that didn't sound good, right? Cryptocurrencies were going up 10% in a day. So why would you wait 6 months for that 10%? But now with everything uncertain, 20% beats out a lot of other kinds of investments. We also have Kucoin that has been talking about the yields recently. He says every eyeball on crypto has been glued to the yield reserves. They're at maybe about 400 million or so right now. He recently deposited 500 million. Daily active wallets up 10x year over year at 20,000. Highest usership in DeFi, largest lending market in DeFi. This is what you can see here, the daily unique addresses. Every umbrage you take adds more eyeballs onto UST and leads Bitcoin and Luna to the market to be market bought. You are also helping the Terra protocol, and you are becoming one of the biggest stackers in existence of Bitcoin. Now, they say here recently that they're going to have to lower the rates, and we knew this, right? They aren't making enough money. That's what the yield reserve is for. They're not making enough money to continue to pay out that amount. But as time goes on, they will lower it, or they'll up it depending on how much is being borrowed, how much revenue they can actually make. A lot of us know this, right? They are sacrificing money in the short term so that way they can get more users. And if they can give a 12% or 13, 14% yield, that's great over the long term when you think about it. Now, he recently said UST with $10 billion in Bitcoin reserves will open a new monetary era of the Bitcoin standard. P2P, electronic cash that will be easier to spend and more attractive to hold Bitcoin. Now, some people I saw took this as they already have 10 billion in Bitcoin reserves. They do not. If you go further down, someone asks how much do they actually have, and he says that they have about 3 billion in assets right now. And they've been raising money, they've been donating, so that way they can continue to buy Bitcoin. Recently, we actually saw a good amount coming off reserves too, off the exchanges. We saw about 35,000 Bitcoin in one day coming off exchanges. And this was right around the time that they were buying about $1 billion worth. If you calculate the numbers, 35,000 times 40,000, it's about what they need. I believe it's about 1.4 or $1.2 billion. So this might have been them buying $1.2 billion worth off the exchanges. Now, I could be wrong. That's kind of a guess in the dark right now, but there was a significant amount taken off about exactly what they needed or about what they bought around the same time. So if they continue to buy, right, the reserves are just going to go down and down and down. Another $7 billion worth of Bitcoin, that's nearly, what is that? Nearly 200,000 Bitcoin. 7 billion at 35,000 is, 7 is about 200,000 Bitcoin. So this will be interesting. If it continues, right, they could drain off nearly another 10% off exchanges. So I know that that this isn't what probably a lot of people thought, because I have stablecoin and I've been buying stablecoin through Kucoin and moving it over to Anchor. And I could be wrong, right? The UST stablecoin could depeg and we could lose a lot of money, but the risk of that becomes less and less as they back it with Bitcoin. And I think there is something to be said for the fact that 19.4% with different risks to cryptocurrency, I think that's quite attractive. And that's why we've seen so many people bring deposits in here. Also, it's just not real simple right now. But as UST becomes more and more popular, there will probably be more and more people that put money in here when it's on the exchanges that they use, right? If a lot of the normal apps that you might use to buy cryptocurrencies start adding UST, it's going to be really simple for a lot of people to figure that out and then just add a wallet right, at a Terra Station wallet and then send the money over. It's easier than having to send it to Kucoin, move it around Kucoin, then send it out. So I think that should be stated too. And as more and more money goes into UST, it's only going to help Terra because, again, there's that burn mechanism where you want UST, you have to convert it from Luna. So then the Luna scarcity goes up and Luna's price goes up. So I think Luna is pretty interesting too in a market environment where everything else is falling. Luna is actually going up because people want more UST stablecoin, and that 20% looks really good. So that's why Terra has gone up 71% on the last 30 days when everything else is down 10 to 30%. So like I said, a little bit of a different video. I'm not against buying cryptocurrency. Like I said, I've been buying cryptocurrency twice a week. I've been buying stocks twice a week, but I also hold a good amount of the stablecoin because it pays a good amount, and it's got different risks. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, you can check out the link to Kucoin if you want to use that to get UST. And of course, do your own research. This is not enough information to go make an investment decision, but I would highly suggest doing more research on what they're doing there. Also, check out the link underneath the video to Unstoppable Domains, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.